Oh, I'm being heckled right now.
Oh, yes,
this
you
is
are.
a heckle. This
Not
is a
really.
heckle.
No.
That is a heckle.
No.
Look, I know a heckle when I
Turn
hear
around
one.
and
That's
that's
a
Jill.
heckle.
We blame her.
That is
Flirty.
a heckle. That is a heckle.
That's Jill, our
Can't
producer.
believe it. I don't listen to garbage like that. Are you kidding me?
This is ridiculous.
But this is perfect because it'll get us into the whole conversation. We
My
are back with hour number
goodness.
2
I know,
of
this
the
is offensive.
Right, the Bernie and Sid show on 77 WABC. This is, in fact, the Village People, and they're gay, as is our next guest.
That was
flamboyant
seamless.
and beautiful.
It was flawless.
Milo
Seamless.
Yiannopoulos.
I could work in radio for 30 years and never come up with a segment.
Has this
like
been,
that.
usually when you go on a radio show, is this the lame thing they do, play the Village People?
Yes,
or-
it is this exact song. and you know, maybe it's just me because I have very high expectations of everybody in my life, and it always leads to misery and disappointment. But I had, having met you previously, thought better of you. But it's okay.
No, listen.
It's
we're
okay.
blaming her.
It's okay.
We're blaming her.
Blaming
right
her.
there. Yes. That's what we do.
Glamorous woman in the back.
We blame the women because we're sexist like that. Hey,
well,
so
you see-
Milo
you see,
Yiannopoulos
I
is
love
here.
women, as I'm sure we're about to discuss at length.
You love attractive women. I love
Yeah, I do.
attractive
Yeah, I
women. We
do.
do. We love women. We love women,
We do.
period.
We do.
You don't
like Donald Trump.
What would
I
gay
love the
guys?
women.
What would gay guys do without fag hags? Of course, I love women.
Right.
That's true.
Who'd you hang out with?
Exactly. I mean, straight men don't want to.
So listen, your latest Milo Yiannopoulos, Breitbart. He writes for Breitbart. He's a gay conservative, is what he is, and a provocateur, self-admitted troll. And he was on this tour. What do you call your tour on college campuses?
You can't say it. Can
I
you?
can't.
Can
I can't.
No, let me give
No,
you,
I can't.
Let me. Please.
Please.
Let me give you a fag pass. I'm going to give you a
I
fag
can't
pass
take
for the
it.
hour.
I-
You can't.
No.
Because people are going to get upset.
You know what's funny? We went to our boss after you were here last time. He loved you, but I thought you were great. And he said, listen, Milo said it's okay if,
Yes.
in fact, we say that. And
Yes.
he said, okay, then let Milo sign your next check.
You see?
Oh my goodness! See, this is the problem with America. This is what I'm for. I exist to fix this problem because I want you guys to be able to say fag. I want you guys to be able to say queer and
So you should run for
pansy.
president. Why don't you run for instead of backing Donald
Well,
Trump
I
and getting in
wasn't-
trouble?
I
Why
wasn't
don't you run
born
for
here.
president?
I wasn't born. I need a new amendment. I need a Milo amendment.
If there
so I
was a
can be
Milo
president.
amendment, would you ever really consider running and trying to make real changes?
Oh, are you kidding? I'd be the most fabulous president in history. I'd be
No,
fantastic.
listen,
Everybody, do what you want, say what you want, be what you want, read what you want, hang out with whoever you want, dress however you like, speak how you please. I'd be the most popular president in history. Are you kidding me?
No, your future is.
I'd probably end up nuking Mecca, but but people at home would
Listen,
like
that's
me.
why we want Trump. Raqqa, Mecca, whatever the hell. Listen, you become more notorious and famous since the last time we saw you, if that's possible.
No, that's going to be the case every time we ever meet.
Every time, every single time. And the whole thing now is this trolling thing. You got banned
Yes,
from Twitter. You
I
were banned
did.
last time you
did.
were here for criticizing a movie. For God's sakes, the
for
whole
a bad,
thing.
For a bad movie.
For a
review.
terrible, horrible movie, and you
Awful
had
movie.
people attack the lady after you attacked her in the movie. You criticized the movie, and they banned you because of some of your followers, what they said.
Right.
And you
Guilt by association.
astutely pointed out, why should I have to defend myself against what other people say? Then you were on this show, ABC's Nightline, with this homophobe, Terry Moran.
You see, this is the thing. This is what I can use now because they have spent so long trying to convince normal people like us that if you disagree with something that a black woman says, it's because she's black and a woman, and therefore you must be a sexist and racist. And if you disagree with something that a gay person says, it must be because you're a homophobe. Well, two can play at that game, sweetheart.
That's exactly why I said what I said.
I know.
So here he was. Here was Milo Yiannopoulos with this guy Terry Moran on ABC's Nightline. And all this,
Terry Moran.
Time magazine did this big article about trolling. They quoted Milo, and apparently it's a right wing phenomenon. There's no lefties don't do any
No,
trolling.
of course
not.
No, that whole Bernie Sanders thing.
So, take a listen to this exchange right here.
You're going to go after somebody's body
Yeah.
to denigrate their ideas? What grade are you in? Seriously.
No.
Are you a 13-year-old boy?
No. Absolutely, I will, and I'll tell you why.
Because somebody
the
doesn't
body
have
positive-
a weight that you think
it
is
is
proper?
so-
That's revolting.
No, it's not revolting.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. I'll tell you what's revolting. What's revolting is the body positivity movement. What's revolting is this idea now that you can tell women that they'll be healthy at any size. Why? Because it tells women that you can be fat and you can be unattractive and you'll be happy anyway. That's a lie.
That is a lie.
It's a lie.
That is a lie.
It's
Total
a lie.
fabrication.
And this comes from, these overweight, self-indulgent, deeply miserable, self-loathing lesbians in... no, I'm serious.
Jesus.
I'm serious.
We know you're serious.
I know.
It's still funny.
That's the problem. No, in the university departments where this stuff starts. And my objection to it is that,
Yes.
these young, vulnerable girls who are arriving, have body image issues, don't know their place in the world, are trying to work out, what they're into, what they want, And do we encourage these people to live good lives, to be disciplined, to respect their bodies, to look good for other people, to be happy and well-adjusted?
It's tough. It's tough love to do that. Would be tough love.
Well, who's most guilty of that crime of in fact doing that? Lesbians are the most guilty.
Well, yes, and it's not a joke actually. I mean, men are visual animals. We like to look at things, which is why you get the sort of in gay culture, for instance, it's very visual. It's all about the jacked bodies and things because men are visual animals. So we get two men together. All they want to do is like look at each other and then whatever. Right. Women are emotional animals. They look for pleasure and comfort and satisfaction in other sorts of things. And so when you have two women who are attracted to one another, they kind of don't care what each other looks like. And in fact, this is one of the reasons why they have this phenomenon called lesbian bed death.
What is that?
Well, when two lesbian couples get together after the first sort of 3 to 6 months, they just don't have sex the rest of their lives. They just don't bother because they're not really interested. Yeah, their libidos just evaporate, basically. Well, under those circumstances, it's not difficult to imagine why the almost exclusively lesbian gender studies departments in American universities are starting to pump out this stuff that says, oh, girls, your self-esteem should not be related to what a man thinks of you. Well, yeah, it should. If you want a nice boyfriend, if you want like an attractive, wealthy husband who is as smart as you and is going to make you smile and not cheat on you and be a nice guy. Yeah, it should. And it's not about meeting up to male expectations. It's just about having some self-respect about your bodies. Absolutely. And these kids are getting to universities encouraged to wallow in grievance and victimhood culture in their social justice classes, and then come into contact with these terrifying and horrible professors who are telling them that it's okay to turn themselves into gorgons, and that somehow they'll still be. Well, no, you won't. You'll only be happy looking like something from a 17th century fairy tale if you're only interested in sleeping with women. Otherwise it's simply not true. And what little light mischievous trolling that I do, about the messages that the media and even companies now. JCPenney did this video. JCPenney put this video out on Twitter saying, healthy at any size. You're not healthy at any size. You are going to die sooner. You're going to die sooner. It's not a joke. You are going to die
but they're not,
earlier.
But the heavier size models, for example, they're not Roseanne Barr. They're just, they may be 50 pounds heavier than what you're used to. They're hardly fat and out of shape and dying.
Well, no, but some of the plus size models are kind of edging up against what are in some cases relatively unhealthy skinny models who are too thin.
Right,
there is such a thing as too thin. Believe it or not, a gay man would say that. There is such a thing as too thin. But that's not the kind of people we're talking about. If you look at the JCPenney video, every woman in the JCPenney video, who's sort of minor celebrities, comedians and whatever, every single woman in that video was obese.
Okay.
And these are the role models that the examples we're sending young girls.
Yeah.
Disney has been systematically dismantled as a good role model system for young women. Why? Who knows? But Disney heroines who worked hard to achieve the love they always wanted, looked after themselves, overcame obstacles. This is essentially conservative libertarian ideals of self-improvement, seeing what you want, working out how to get there, and getting there. Jasmine does that. Ariel does that.
Snow White.
Sorry,
Snow White did it.
Snow White for sure. All of these role models. By the way, did you see? So this is a little tangent, but did you see that they have redesigned at Disney World? They have redesigned Jasmine's outfit.
I missed that.
No. Well, you're looking like you might be excited by this, but you won't be. So Jasmine used to have a really sexy outfit. She used to have this little boob thing and the billowy trousers. And the whole point of her showing a bit of flesh was that she was resisting the conservatism of the Sultan, of her dad, right?
That's right.
So she was going against this, what we would now recognize as a sort of oppressive, patriarchal Islamic culture.
Right.
And she was resisting that. She was a modern, strong woman who was going to date whoever she wanted, no matter what social class he came from. Fantastic role model for young girls, in my view, right? Mm-hmm. The costume for Jasmine has been changed at Disney World to cover her up.
Oh, boy.
To comply with, and this is the words that Disney employees have told me, modesty and safety. Now, safety is a word that corporations use when they just want to do something and don't want to explain the real reason. And modesty, no,
this is regressive.
It's for your safety.
Come
give
on.
me a break. Oh, I'm so unsafe by seeing a woman's forearm. Please, just give me a break. It's so patronizing. It's not. They don't even pretend it. They don't even try to pretend that's true. They just say, safety. So anyway, the was modesty. Modesty is an Islamic watchword.
Exactly
right.
Right.
It is the It's not the modesty. I mean, do you think American society, American culture is getting more modest? Is there some clamor in American society for women to cover up? No. There is a sensitivity to the feelings of Muslims.
But why
as a result,
that?
Jasmine's being covered up at
Why
Disney
is that,
World.
Milo? Why is that? Why is it that the left that encourages immodesty traditionally is so when it comes to Islamic the Islamic religion religion and burkinis and all that stuff. They defend it to the death. I mean, what's the deal with that?
Well, I don't think it's as simple as they're afraid of being blown up. I think it's more complicated than that. I've thought a lot about this. I think the analysis that Islam has of the West is very similar to the analysis that Black Lives Matter, modern radical feminism, and the progressive left has of the West. They hate all the same things about America. They hate modern, democratic, liberal Western capitalism. They hate the supposed, white patriarchy. All of the things that modern social justice warriors and progressives hate about America, Muslims do too.
So the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Right. So in the Cold War, you had the progressives that the Soviet Union was calling useful idiots. Well, today, for ISIS, the useful idiots are in university departments in America, undermining the principles that made America strong and brilliant, and weakening, the First and Second Amendments. These are ISIS's useful idiots.
I see. So it corresponds to their goals.
See, my thing is, I have no issue, and you're not going to like this, Milo, with women in bikinis. I don't like to see men in bikinis. I don't like when men go to the beach and they wear these little, no. Plastic bathing suits.
I agree. I think it's
you do? You think it's gross, right?
No, I mean, you think something you don't know about me because we don't know each other that well. I really don't like other gay people very much, and they don't.
No, but these are straight guys too.
I don't know, but that sort of preening, over waxed, tweezed, plucked, posing pouch.
Well, you don't like that?
Budgie smuggle. No, God, it's horrible. Right. It's horrible. I like gentlemen to be gentlemen.
So the upshot of our conversation that we just had, we're going to break in a moment, is body shaming is actually constructive.
Of course, fat shaming works. If your wife tells you you're getting fat and she doesn't want to have sex with you, what do? You stop eating. Of course it works.
Because she loves you, right?
Of course it works.
Exactly right. Now, and the
no
point
wonder you like Trump. I mean, you're consistent. I got to give you that you're consistent because Donald Trump is the type of guy that would he has, in fact, body shame people his whole life.
Of course.
And you find that to be charming and appealing, don't you?
Of course I do.
Because you don't have any daughters. Because you don't have any daughters.
No. Because if I had daughters, I would make sure they were thin and gorgeous. And if I had sons, I'd make sure they were athletic and smart and they got sports scholarships. Because I want the best for my children, and I don't want them to indulge in this victimhood, grievance, egotistical view of the world that says that the rest of the world has to warp itself around me. No, the world is as it is. We don't live in a utopia, and if you want your children to be healthy, happy, and successful, they have to go do certain things, like look after themselves, work hard at school, all this kind of stuff.
Great advice. Now, this is going to come as a surprise to our listeners and your fans. Milo is a huge fan of Amy Schumer and Lena Dunham. He's going to tell us all about that right after this break.
Stop it.
Get in. Get Truth 77 WABC.
Now this is better. This is Jane's Addiction. Dave Navarro, he was on with us.
I'm just being heckled in a different way.
No,
I don't know what you're alluding to now.
This is.
I don't know what's going on.
This guy was on with us last week. The guitarist Dave Navarro from this band.
Oh, really? He's cool.
He was an asshole.
Oh, he was an asshole.
Terrible.
Oh, I'm
He's a jerk.
Oh, I always thought he was cool.
So anyway,
never meet me.
We're here on the Bernie and Sid Show with the fabulous self-admitted troll Milo Yiannopoulos. He writes for Breitbart. He has a podcast on Breitbart. It was just banned from Twitter, by the way. As
they did.
Milo himself.
They're such monsters.
They are. They're animals.
They're such monsters.
They banned your podcast too?
Yeah. So they came through the Twitter feed. It literally just tweets links to the show. That's it, and that's too much for them.
So let me ask you this: you're on a ship, right? And Amy Schumer, Lena Dunham, and Glenn Beck are all swept overboard. You have one lifesaver. Who do you throw it to?
Oh no, I just kill them all. No, there isn't enough rope in the world to save Amy Schumer. So she's out. No, I think they've all got to go.
Really?
Okay, now you got into this big fight with Glenn Beck, who's totally lost his mind. He's a psycho.
He's a lunatic.
He really is. I
mean, he's this guy. He got 1 million people to his rally once. I mean, could I get 1 million people to put Cheetos on their face to mock him? No, because no one cares about Glenn Beck anymore. He's just such a crazy person, and he does this thing. If you're a Glenn Beck fan and you're out there and you're thinking, yes, well, he's gone a bit off the boil, I would advise you to just observe something that he does. When he doesn't have an argument, but he wants to get at you for something, he will start this pious, holier-than-thou sort of Christian values, kindness, compassion kind of routine. And it is a routine. There's a reason that Glenn Beck came for me and said, oh, Milo, you're a 13-year-old, you're becoming the bullies you hate, blah, blah, blah. Total garbage, of course. There's a reason he did it, and that's because a couple of days previously, I leaked on my Facebook page that The Blaze days was seeking a particular kind of loan that is only used immediately prior to bankruptcy. It's only used when you've exhausted all other options, which means the company but effectively has a couple of weeks left unless it can get bridge financing.
Which is true.
Or unless...
I know that for a fact.
It sucks.
Right, unless it can get bridge financing or unless, somebody buys it. It's a loan that's often used as a last-ditch attempt to keep the company alive while you're looking for, to do a fire sale. And nobody knew this, and I knew from my friend who worked at the investment bank that was doing it. So I put this on my Facebook page, and of course the Blaze were furious that anybody found this out, because I have better sources and hair than everybody there. There
you go.
Yeah,
it's true.
And anyway, so he got mad with me. So he wrote this thing about how I'm such a bully, I'm such a child.
He called you sexist, all the hate, hate monger, all this.
Give me a break.
He turned into one of them.
But I got to ask you this.
No, Glenn Beck, one of the fulminating conspiracy mongers of conservative media, has now rediscovered himself as an evangelical preacher. Give me a break.
He's a maniac. We have to break because we have to get to news, and he'll be here for the next 30 minutes, which is great. But I'm going to ask you to think about this during the break. I agree, Glenn Beck's a maniac. I agree. But you seem to think anybody who doesn't like Donald Trump or anybody who's against what you believe is a maniac. So what I want you to do is...
No, that's
I want
not
you,
true.
Then when
that's
we get,
not true. You're lovely. I think you're lovely.
Well,
you hate Donald Trump.
I'm the one guy.
Oh, okay.
When we get back from break, give me somebody who is anti-Donald Trump that you still respect, okay? Is that fair?
Easy.
And then we want to ask you about the Hillary's alt-right speech. You are the personification of the alt-right movement.
She came for me. She read out my headlines. It was so exciting.
We're going to ask you about that. And we're going to
That's like $3 million in advertising.
Thanks,
babe.
We have some questions about the gay culture that we want you to be frank with us about.
Yes.
We're ignorant, and we want to talk to you about it.
We even want to try some stuff, if that's okay with you. But ready to go.
We're going to roll
you wore your skinny jeans for me today, didn't you? I noticed. Those are way skinnier than the ones you were wearing last time. I noticed. You fagged up for me today.
You're damn right you did. You're damn right. Bernie, Sid, and Milo back after the news.
77 WABC.
So I got to tell you, you'd never know until he talked, obviously, that Milo was gay. Just when he walks in, you wouldn't know. He's got it.
People meet me and have conversations with me. They do not know him.
They don't know. You're a good-looking kid. You're dressed impeccably today until I just dropped my pen. So I took
easy.
I know. Don't get nuts. So I went to grab my pen, and his socks today.
What's wrong with my socks?
So the look. Hey,
they're pink tartan.
As a matter of fact,
and I'm also wearing crushed burgundy velvet slippers because I wore a nice suit because I met you last time and I thought, oh god, okay, fine, I'll do it. And I came along and you were amazing, and I respected you enough to actually put a suit on on for you this time.
You look beautiful.
It was cut for me last week. It fits perfectly.
It looks great.
It does.
Fabulous.
But not quite enough to wear real shoes. So I'm in crushed burgundy velvet slippers.
Bush 41
and lovely socks.
Bush 41 wore socks like that, so it's not necessarily an indication.
He wore pink socks?
Yes, he wore flamboyant socks like that.
Yes. Pink, so those jeans hugging your thighs like they do, and you have the audacity to complain about my socks.
Isn't he unbelievable?
Good grief, the level of hypocrisy in the studio is suffocating.
Talk about it. I asked you before the break, before Bernard gets to his next question. I said, you're so pro-Trump, which is fine, so is Bernie, that tell me somebody in your life besides me and cross-dressers and RuPaul that you like and or respect.
That's offensive, by the way.
Right, of course it is.
No, it's fine. I gave him
he's good with us. That doesn't like, that is not for Donald Trump, and you couldn't even think of one person.
Do you know it's very difficult? And it's difficult because all the fun people like Trump. All the hellraisers, all the mischief makers.
I'm fun.
They all like Trump. I'm just thinking through, the good feminists, whether it's Christina Hoff Sommers or Camille Parley or the Phyllis Schlafly, who sadly died this week. Yesterday, wasn't it? Iconic, brilliant, iconoclasts, but people who went against the grain. Or either Trump or at least have flirted with or acknowledged his appeal, rather than doing the virtue signaling never Trump thing. I mean, it's really difficult. Yeah. I mean, the only person I can think of is, the only people I can think of are like pop stars because they kind of have to be.
Well, you got angry with, the only time I did offend you, you walked out of the studio.
Managed to offend me.
Mariah Carey.
Mariah, of course, has to pretend to be Hillary just because she's.
But why do you love Mariah?
She's got so many Hispanic
Why do you love
fans.
her so much, though? What is your?
Oh, she's the only megastar left.
Really?
I think so. I mean, Madonna as well, of course. But she's. But Madonna is a bit of a.
Would you have sex with Mariah Carey even though you're gay?
Of course.
Oh yeah, listen to this.
Of course.
Right.
No, she's perfect. She's perfect. No, I mean, I see Mariah as kind of coming from the line of Ella, Billie, Nina. You know, she's a very poppy version of that, but she's a woman who sings about grief and loss and pain and all the rest of it. And Madonna doesn't really do that.
Between Mariah Carey and Drew Carey, who would you rather have sex with? Both at the same time,
has to be Mimi.
So listen, mostly the people who are supporting Hillary, sour, angry,
they're
SOBs,
so
boring,
right?
Aren't
they're
they?
So boring.
Terrible.
Oh, and the worst people aren't them. The worst people are the conservatives. The worst people are the Republicans.
Oh, the never Trumpers.
Trump Republicans are so dull. It's like, you know, in the most spectacular imaginable way, these people have just had it explained to them why their party is no longer fit for purpose and why everyone hates them. And their response, rather than reflection and humility, is to go on the attack like wounded animals that know they're about to be put out of their misery. I mean, you've got people wandering around, you know, Bill Kristol and Ben Shapiro and all these other people who used to be very well respected and used to have big platforms, who are but just seeing their seeing their audiences evaporate, wandering around looking like dogs that have just been kicked, you know. Right. And they are dogs, and they were just kicked, and they deserve to be, and they should slink off and go and be mongrels somewhere while we build a glorious, beautiful new empire of Trump.
Okay, so you're the face. You're the face of the alt-right, as it's called.
No,
Hillary introduced that.
People are desperate to appoint me that.
But she demonized that whole movement with that speech, of course, unfairly, unnecessarily. What is the alt-right to you?
She made it sound basically like the KKK, right? I mean, basically.
I mean, are there even white supremacists left in this country? What are there, like 5,000 of them left compared to Black Lives Matter? You tell me what the racial superiority movement in America today is. Give me a break. You know, the only remaining, in fact, the only remnant of the existence of the KKK I ever see is pictures of Hillary with Robert Byrd. I mean, you know, give me a break.
Al Gore's father was
right. Of course,
there was the
Democrats party.
There was the Donald Trump, David Duke thing for a while there too.
Oh no, but Donald Trump was doing something different. Doing something very interesting and very clever, which was refusing to play this disavowal game. Right. You know, he said, "Do you disavow this? Do you disavow that?" And Trump's like,
nah,
go to hell. I've got to win an election, you know. Right. So you know, and he was meandering on that subject. And I've come to realize what he was doing was very smart on that subject. No. I mean, like, look, the alt-right is a new, mischievous, dissident movement full of subversion and whimsy and very smart people, which sort of rejects establishment republicanism. It is rejecting the market knows all. It cares about Western culture. It cares about protecting Western culture from immigration. It cares about wages for the people that globalization globalism is left behind. It's a sort of
it's not so much the Christian conservative right anymore.
No, that's kind of yesterday's news. And obviously, as a homosexual, I'm obliged to put my bags in the coolest camp, and that's the alt-right. No, I mean, people are desperate to appoint me the head of the alt-right. All I have ever done is give them a fair hearing in the press. I've never even said I was a member of it. But it's, you know, and actually I differ with them on some things. I was pro the Iraq War. I'm very pro-Israel and stuff like that, which the alt-right would find very uncomfortable. So no, I'm not like, you know, the crown prince of it, but I do have a lot of sympathies, and I do like
interesting
them.
You said you're pro-Iraq war, because one of the things that Bernard for a while, not just Bernard, I want to, because he's not alone, and I get it, Hillary and others, that they were pro the Iraq war, this mistake. And I guess part of, and Bernard's not wrong when he says, hey, listen, it's one thing if in fact you voted for it, if it was not for political expediency, and if you decided now that it was the wrong move. Are you one of those guys that voted for it, but now today says it was the wrong move?
No, I think it was the right move, and I would invade every Muslim country, kill their leaders, convert them to Christianity, as Ann Coulter likes to say.
Yeah, I guess
no, we haven't gone nearly far enough in the Middle East. But
here's the thing, Milo. The thing is that the dictator, the secular dictator, was better than the radical Islamist mentality that took over.
That's just because we screwed up. We didn't do it properly. That's not because we shouldn't have gone. That doesn't mean we shouldn't have gone in. I mean, we should have gone in properly.
Mubarak in Egypt. The same thing with Gaddafi in Libya. We're better off with the secular dictator because he keeps an iron fist and keeps the animals at bay.
Yeah, no, I see the value in that, and I certainly respect.
Which, by the way,
if you can't wage total war against the Middle East,
if you can't just annihilate them,
then yes, exactly. Then yes, you're absolutely right.
But it sounds crazy that instead of annihilating them, we are okay leaving a person like that who doesn't mind genocide, killing his own people. Forget about Americans, his own people, better off because it's not as bad as the next guy. That sounds crazy.
It does, but you can't police the whole world.
It's reality.
You can't police the whole world. In the real world, you have to make difficult decisions. What the alt-right, I think, would say is that we have done enough of this messing with the rest of the world, these foreign wars, and it's time to make America great again. It's time to focus on domestic issues for a while.
Okay.
And so they're much less hawkish than the neocons and other Republican presidents of the last sort of decade or so.
So let me ask you this now. Trump has tightened tightened the race. He went to a black church. He's reached out to black Americans. The race is tightened. What do you think of the race as it stands right now? Hillary's on the decline. She's looking more corrupt and sickly and
sick.
You want to
can she even get her own name out now? I mean, it's like, hi, my name's. I mean, like, honestly, that was so distressing watching that.
It was disgusting.
It was distressing. What is going on there? Look, there's a very simple thing that's going to happen. The debates. And Trump is a juggernaut. He's a freight train. That man has so much energy. He's so high energy. What's going to happen when she's supposed to be on stage for like 45 minutes, an hour and a half?
She'll be fine.
She'll be fine. She'll be drugged up to the eyeballs. She'll be barely able to string a sentence together, or she'll be coughing her lungs out. Hillary doesn't have a great record when she tries to play the victim. Mm-hmm. When she cried, it didn't work out well for her.
True.
When she plays the woman card, it doesn't work out well for her.
How do you know?
She doesn't get. Well, she.
How do you know?
Well, because of her husband, for one.
When she talks about the sexism stuff, it just rings hollow with people because her husband's a rapist and she covered it up and went after the women. Right. So it
when she gets the overwhelming amount of women voting for her in November, then what are you going to say? We don't know that. Well, it doesn't work for her. How do you know? We have no election yet.
Well, I think we know from her because she doesn't get.
Trump does better with married women than Hillary Clinton, by the way.
Of course, because interestingly, for an engine of chaos, he is supporting.
You don't agree with that, did you?
That's not. Well, that's a fact.
Excuse me. That's better with any class of women than Hillary Clinton. Not married, not married. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. There are no facts until November. There are no facts until November.
It would not surprise me if Trump was doing well with married women, because married women always go very conservative in their voting and always go protectionist.
I'm married to a woman who wouldn't vote for Donald Trump if he was the last man on this planet.
Well, nobody's perfect.
Now we know where your opinions are coming from.
Exactly. It's the skinny jeans. Did she pick them out for you?
Yeah.
Did she pick them out?
She doesn't want any. She doesn't want any more
kids.
kids.
Pick out the shirt? Yeah, she doesn't want any more children.
I think you pointed that out last time.
She doesn't want to continue this bloodline.
Right. So
children are weak and will not survive the winter.
We want to. Speaking of marriage, we want to talk about the gay relationship. But first, Colin Kaepernick. Quickly, your thoughts on Colin Kaepernick and what he did?
Oh God, I'm so tired of all this
forget it. Let's skip
stuff. It's so boring.
Do you watch football? I'm curious because the misconception is because you're gay, you don't care about.
Well,
football,
only if I'm horny, but
okay.
No, sometimes the internet's being flaky. So
let us cut to the chase. I want to ask you some penetrating questions right here.
See what he did there?
About
it did not pass unnoticed.
Gay culture right here. Now, this is what we want to talk about. Last time you were here, you said you wouldn't mind being in prison, locked in a room with 30 guys.
Oh, can you imagine? It's my life mission to have sex with someone on death row.
Here is the question.
I want someone's hands around me that have killed someone. I want hands on my throat that have suffocated someone. Right? Can you imagine anything hotter than that?
No.
Oh my goodness.
I could, but that's another thing.
I want to convince some TV producer to make a show where I just go on death row, and I'm going to convince them that the idea is I meet these people who are like on death row for murder, and it kind of like liberalizes me, and I suddenly realize and all the rest of it. No, I'm going to go. I still want him on the chair, but I do want him. Want him first.
If you call the guys in Miami, those King guys, and want to do death row porn, I guarantee you'll get a gig. I guarantee you.
God,
what do they got to lose?
I'll see you in December. Death row.
Okay.
I might need to be excused from the next segment. I'm sorry, you're going to ask me some questions.
We have our colleague here, it's Justin. He's a producer. He's gay, and we were talking to him about the gay lifestyle. About
come, let me look at you.
Take a look.
Come over here.
Do the twirl.
He's a cute kid.
I want to examine you.
Look at him.
Look, he's adorable. What a pretty little thing.
You like him, right?
No. He's not old enough or black enough for me. But
here's the question now: do guys, in other words, in the relationship, guys who give it and take it. I mean, are you incompatible with two guys who take it? Are you two guys incompatible with each other?
This is one of the reasons I sleep with black guys, because white guys always think I'm a top, or white guys always think I want to be the daddy because I've got a very overbearing personality.
So you're not.
And I don't. No, when I get home, I just want someone to take command.
Right.
Sure. So, no, but if every time I go home with a white guy, they're always kind of like the body language changes. They start to kind of like get coquettish, and their head sort of tilts to one side. And I'm like, oh God, I've realised what I've just got myself into. This is going to be an hour of torture. So this is not what I'm in the game for.
So do you establish that when you're discussing it over drinks? I mean, I like this and you like that. So
I think it becomes clear through sort of body language and things. But if you don't take the time enough to make absolutely sure, then it can get. See,
mucky. I would think, Milo, that you do both. Like you may take it in the beginning.
Some people,
if it's a long, 2 hours of sex, you would do both, right? I mean, Wouldn't you? Right? Take it, give it. No.
I'm sure that some people do that.
But you don't do
I
that.
happen to have a preference.
So you don't.
Which is what? Now, put it on the table. I mean, not literally. Just tell us. Tell us what it is.
He takes it.
You like to take it.
Like a champ.
I like a champ, yes. Biting the pillow you advertised so brilliantly earlier.
You want to bite the pillow in a prison cell with 30.
I mean,
guys.
I've just told you I want hands around my throat, and you're asking me whether I'm a top or a bottom. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I want to get throttled while I do.
Look how great this is. Right now we've got Justin. He likes to give it. You like to
Does
take
he?
it.
No.
But
Justin doesn't like to take it.
I don't believe that for a second.
So they're
Look
not.
at him.
They're not. Even though they're gay, they're not compatible.
Because we've got Danny Mulkin here with the camera. We could have had a great scene just now.
Hey,
no, look at him. There's no way he's giving it to anyone.
So listen, we learned something
Pumpkin.
about our gay neighbors.
Just kidding.
Hey, look, Milo Yiannopoulos, we're out of time.
Oh, we love
you.
you.
Are fabulous.
We love you.
You're unbelievable, an unbelievable phenomenon on online with your podcast and politics and culture, everything. You're a fabulous dude.
Well,
and
thank you.
We love thank you for coming in on the Bernie and Sid show. Anytime you're in New York, you're welcome here on this show.
This is my favorite.
I will
show.
tell you this.
It's my favorite show. You will be holding me back.
He's the horniest guy I know, and he's actually thinking twice now about being with women because of you. He's thinking about making the
That
crew.
doesn't surprise me. There is a thing on the internet called Milosexual.
Yeah.
It's like gamers and frat boys who are kind of frustrated with the excesses of modern feminism and how terrible women are turning themselves into undateable monsters these days because of feminism, and they're looking out on this clever, sassy, funny, hot British dude, and they're like,
I'm a fanboy. I'm a Milo fanboy. Hey, Milo, thanks, man.
Thank you so much.
Anytime. Bernie and Sid back after this.